welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we are going to talk about an update on my goals for the month of April and then talk about the goals that I have set for the month of May. We're going to do that by going through my Cultivate What Matters power sheets. I've talked about these before. If you've been around, you know the drill. The Cultivate What Matters power sheets are a goal setting planner that helps you figure out what is important in your life and create goals around those things and then take action on those goals. So each month I have been checking in with you and sharing how everything went last month. How did all the action items that I set up for the month of April, how did those go? Did I like them? Did I not like them? Did I even do them? And then we will talk about all the action items that I have set up for May. So let's dive right in because these videos tend to be long because I just love to talk about goals. So for April, I really wanted to focus on habits and routine, and that sort of is what my encouraging words and my top priority captured. I don't think I did a good job of that. I really don't think that I established any new routines. I don't think I even solidified my other routines. Maybe working out, I got back into that routine, but that was even like the second half of the month after getting my wisdom teeth out. So I don't know that I really encapsulated that, and that will show a little bit when we get to the May words. All right, so the monthly action items, I did so-so. So May tanning list, obviously I did that or we wouldn't be having this video. Pump up playlist, I did this. I loved this. I'll be talking about this more in my favorites video, but I love music. I think that there's something so powerful about songs and memories and feelings, and creating, I didn't even just create one playlist, I created multiple playlists, and it has made a big difference this month. A Skillshare class, didn't do it. I totally underestimated how tired and exhausted my body would be after getting my wisdom teeth out. I thought that I would need to rest, but I would be able to do so while doing other things, like taking a Skillshare class. I was wrong. I did, I guess, make progress on this month by creating a list of topics that I think I would be interested in for a Skillshare class so that I'm not just like blindly going to the website and scrolling through all of the options. So I did make that progress, but actually taking the class, that's getting pushed to May. Anniversary plans, I didn't quite finish this. You'll see that when we get to the May stuff, but I did finalize the booking of where we're going. I made sure Sam had it in his calendar, and the big pieces of it are done. Declutter clothes, I did that. I actually did a video on that if you want to check it out and watch me clean out my closet and my dresser. That was awesome. Patio makeover. That didn't even like remotely get started. So part of that was a March problem. So I had originally intended the last weekend of March to actually clean my patio. And I ordered all the stuff. It was delivered. I ordered a hose. I ordered concrete cleaner. I ordered like a scrubby brush. I was ready to go. If you saw that weekly vlog, it didn't happen because I ended up just spending the whole day with my friends. So I went out to brunch with my friends, and I thought, well, after brunch, if I'm a little bit buzzed, I'll go home and clean the patio. But then it was so gorgeous outside that we ended up just hanging out the rest of the day. And it was an amazing day, but I did not clean the patio. The next weekend was the weekend I got my wisdom teeth out, so that wasn't an option. The next weekend was the Go Wild brunch, and while we were hanging out on the patio, during the Go Wild brunch, I was actually getting a little bit motivated and thinking, okay, well, maybe when everybody leaves, I'm gonna take the rest of daylight and clean the patio. But then a friend of mine said that she has a power washer that she would be willing to bring to my apartment and we could use it on my patio. And I thought, well, why am I gonna take the effort to scrub it myself when she has a power washer? So we haven't had a chance to get together and do that yet, but that is on the horizon. So the patio is coming. It just hasn't happened yet. All right, the next one is to book the Delhi hotel for the Delhi piece of our trip, and we did that, check. And then the last one is to research visas, which I guess in retrospect, I probably could have checked this off because we did research them, but we did not end up applying for them because it was too early. Sam and I sat there, we filled out like a good chunk of it, and then we got to the part where you had to put like your estimated date of arrival, and our date was too far out. It was blocked out. So we haven't done that yet because we just, they wouldn't let us. So we tried, and maybe I should have given myself credit for that, but it did not happen. Okay, the weekly action items. So the first one is check in and update my power sheets. That I did. The next one is Money Mondays. So this is where I was listening to a podcast to and from work on financial anything on Mondays. And I like the alliteration, but you'll see in May I'm switching that up a little bit. Mondays are hard enough without adding in like an additional level of pressure. So we're switching that up a little bit for next month. The next one is Advanced Bootcamp. I think this really encompasses the concept of progress because in March, it was just to take it one time. It was to go to the Advanced Bootcamp class. It's offered twice a week to go one time. And I did it that one time and I didn't die. And so then in April, I made it a weekly goal to go every week. Now, I have to say this week that I'm filming and posting this video, I'm not going, but that's because just my schedule doesn't work. But what I have learned is that I really enjoy it, and I'm incorporating it just into my regular workout routine. And I think that that is just, it shows the progress of implementing something that's important to you. Well, 1 month it was just a one-time thing, and then it became a weekly thing, and now it's just a habit. So maybe I did encompass my routine aspect for this month. The next one is the elastics class. So that is the stretch class. I talked about this in last month's favorites video. I didn't end up going as many times as I wanted to. That was partially due to my wisdom teeth and just some conflicts, but I still really do love that class. The next one was yoga class. So in March, we tried at-home yoga daily. That didn't work for me. So then in April, I was like, all right, let's do an outside of the home class and let's do it once a week. Part of the problem is I like doing my workouts during lunch. Like that's just, I get them done then, and that isn't an option for yoga. And so it has to happen on the weekends, and the weekends were busy, and it didn't end up happening. So it's fine. It happened once, happened one of the weeks. I am not that concerned. You'll see kind of how I switch it up a little bit to still incorporate yoga in May, but not quite so rigidly. And then the last one is the 15-minute social media purge. This one, just like it has every other month, has been perfect. I finally feel like I have a grasp on my Instagram, like the accounts that I'm following and everything that I'm seeing in my Instagram I really love. I'm still chugging through the Facebook groups. That is still proving to be an effort, and I still have a long way to go. So that will stay on the list until I feel like my Facebook groups are under control. All right, let's get to the daily habits. These didn't turn out as well as I wanted them to either, I'm not gonna lie. So the first two were AM water and PM water. AM water, I'm not gonna say I didn't do them because I did them, I just didn't love them. AM water, that still worked. That still worked well for me, and I still enjoy that, and I will still try to incorporate that going forward. I think that's another example of progress. One of the things that I add to my daily tasks for my tending list, when I can feel comfortable enough taking them off and know that I just do them generally. I'm trying to think if there's one from an earlier month where that's true. Oh, like the reading before bed and reading in the morning. That, for a long time, I tracked that as I was building it to be a habit, and now it's just a habit, and now I just do it. Or the journaling before bed. That was a habit in January, and now it's just a habit. So the AM water, I feel that way about it. The PM water, I feel like I was not as consistent with this one in terms of the time that I would do it. Part of it was I would just forget. So sometimes I tried to do it right when I got home from work and considered that like PM. I mean, it was PM. And that worked out kind of well because I felt like I was probably dehydrated from commuting, and that was probably a good idea. Sometimes I tried it right before dinner, which I don't love that. I know some people say that's good to like fill up your stomach. I didn't love that. I tried it right after dinner. I didn't love that either. That made me feel very full. And then I also tried it right before bed, like right after I brushed my teeth. That wasn't good with my bladder. We're changing that up a little bit too, the water intake in general next month. The PM water, that was not a good idea because my evenings are it's easier to add something into my morning routine because that can be a lot more consistent, even on the weekends. Because one of the ways to implement new habits effectively is to link them up with other habits. And the AM water, I linked up with taking my vitamins. And that's something that I do every single morning, no matter what the day of the week was, or no matter where I am. I actually didn't travel at all in April, but the point is, no matter where I am in the world, I take my vitamins every morning. So linking up the water with that was an easy one. Versus the PM water, my evenings are all over the place. Sometimes I'm home at 5:30 and sometimes I'm home at 10. Like it totally varies. And so that one was a lot hard to be consistent with, which I think made it a lot harder to turn into a habit. Okay, the next one was track food. This was pretty good. I mean, I fell off the wagon when I got my wisdom teeth out. I thought I was gonna track like all the ice cream I was eating. Wrong, I did not do that. And then I fell off the wagon a couple other times. My biggest issue personally is, this is something that I'm really trying to work on. When I splurge for something, whether it's a work event and I have a cookie, or whether it's a dinner out and I know that I'm gonna eat whatever I want that night at dinner, I let it turn into the whole day. I am really guilty of being like, well, the whole day is just wasted. I'm gonna eat whatever I want. I'm just gonna eat all the things. And then I wouldn't track anything. When in reality, even if I know that I'm going to be splurging on something at some point during the day, I should still track the rest of it. It's just really hard. May, I'm not trying to track food. You'll see it's not on there, and that's mostly because of travel. but I'm implementing food in another way in May. The next one is AM social media. I loved this one. This one also proved to be a little bit harder on the weekends when my routine wasn't quite as stable, but I'm gonna explain how I'm changing that up for May. But I loved the impact that this had on me. Like, I do not need to check my phone first thing in the morning. That is not a thing that I need to do. It was just amazing. It was really incredible, and I definitely am continuing that in some form or fashion in May. And then the last one was to send a text to somebody in my life. And while I did do this like pretty consistently, I didn't feel like it did anything. Like, the purpose of that was to help develop relationships, and I didn't feel like it had that impact for me. So we're kind of just cutting that for now. Okay, so that is how April went. It was pretty good. It wasn't my best month, I have to say, but I'm excited to turn the page and tell you all about my May goals. Okay, so here is my tending list for May. So my encouraging words for May are to make progress, not excuses. I'm the queen of excuses. I really am. In April, it was my wisdom teeth got out. It's Easter. It's Go Wild brunch. It's Passover. All the things. I made lots of excuses. And while there are some excuses that are actually reasonings, and to some extent, my wisdom teeth was more of a reason than an excuse, I let it go on probably further and worse than I really needed to in terms of how it impacted my goals and my habits. So this month, I have a lot going on. There's a lot going on this month. I'm kicking off the month in Vegas for Go Wild, and then I literally have something every weekend in the month of May, and it's gonna be a crazy month. So I'm gonna try to just focus on the progress and not the excuses. Focus on the positives and the things that I'm accomplishing and achieving, and reward myself and give myself credit for the good decisions that I'm making, and not dwell on the negative and the bad decisions, because when I dwell on the negative decisions, it's a spiral, and it gets worse and it gets bad, and I end up making worse decisions. Versus if I focus on the positive decisions and the progress that I'm making, I know that it will turn into more positive. And then my top priority is to increase productivity. So you'll notice that my tending list this month has 0 stickers on it, besides the color coordinating ones, because one of the things I want to do this month, because it's so busy, is I want to make the most of all the time that I have and not sacrifice sleep for it, which you'll see when we get to the daily test. All right, the monthly action items. So the first 2 are related to my relationship goal, and that is to work on my address file. I feel like I talked about this somewhere before, but so I made a printable sticker address file for Christmas cards last year. 2 years ago, where I print out the addresses on sticker paper, and then I have my Silhouette machine cut them, and then those are the address labels for my Christmas cards. And I had this crazy idea that was like, well, why don't you just print it double, and then it works for birthdays too, and you can use all those for birthday cards. And I was like, well, that's brilliant. And so for this year, that's what I did. I just printed out my Christmas card list, and I'm using that for birthdays. So it's working, but there's something that I want to change about it. There's 2 things I want to change about it. One is when you send out family Christmas cards. Now, I don't have a ton of those, the whatever family that I send Christmas cards to. It's mostly just like my aunt and uncle. But those need to be broken down into the individual people that I do send birthday cards to. For example, like my aunt and uncle and my cousins, like they get their Christmas card as one, like the Lefevre family. But then I send birthday cards to my 2 little cousins. My aunt's birthday is Christmas Eve, so she always gets her birthday card in their Christmas package with all their gifts. So that one doesn't need a separate label, etc. The other thing I want to change about it is putting them in the right order. So one of the things I want to do is go through, I list all my birthdays on the monthly section of my planner, and I want to put the addresses in the order, like put all of January together and all of February together, etc., and then split out the families. So I want to make a little bit of progress on that in May, so I don't get too far behind. And then I'm trying to do it all in December. That doesn't sound like fun. And May is a busy card sending month for me. I have like 15 birthdays or something crazy like that, and 2 anniversaries. That doesn't count my own, which I don't have to mail a card from my own, but there's just a lot going on in the month of May, and so I figured this was a good month to get started on that. The next one is birthday anniversary cards. May is crazy. All right, the next 3 are about my decluttering of my house. These are things that I want to do around the house at some point. Again, May is a little bit crazy, so this isn't too elaborate, but these are the 3 things I want to get done around the house. So the first one is the bottom of my closet. If you watch the declutter video, the bottom of my closet is a mess, and a lot of it, honestly, a lot of it is swag from planner events that I just don't know what to do with. It's not stuff that I'm going to use, so I just need to give it to people. I need to give it away. And I have not figured out the best way to do that. So, but I need to go through that because it's a disaster. The next one is the suitcases. So I have way too many suitcases, first off, A. And B, I store stuff in my suitcases and like, I don't even know what's in there. And I want to get that all cleaned out and organized and maybe even get rid of one of my big giant suitcases. So this I'm going to do a little bit this month as I sort of prep and pack for trips, but I'm really going to let myself check this off when I get home from my trip to Vegas and I put all the suitcases back in the closet. I want to make sure that it's in there, neat, organized, decluttered when I put them away. And then the last one is to work on the patio. I don't know if this is going to end up happening this month. I haven't set time with my friend to come clean the patio. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, the next one is to work on my June tending list. That is on every month. The next two are the category of being me and doing what I love and just appreciating myself. And the first one is the Skillshare class that I didn't do last month. And then the next one is to go through my YouTube analytics. So last month I did the analytics course put on by Gia for Marriage and Motherhood. It was recommended by Cindy and it was awesome. I learned so much and I have so many things to analyze and do. And I love numbers and analyzing and spreadsheets. So I'm excited to do that. It's just something that I need to set aside some time to do. In retrospect, I kind of wish I'd made it a weekly goal so that I could set aside time weekly and not a monthly thing. So we'll see. I'm gonna look at it as a weekly thing, and then if I felt like I've made enough progress, check it off at the end of the month. All right, and then the last two are related to our trip. And the first one is to actually apply for the visas. Our date was only like 2 weeks out, blocked off from the website. So we can do it soon. It wasn't like it was months away. And then the next one is just to outline the schedule. I want to get a big picture of the schedule and what I need to look for to fill in the schedule. Like how many totally empty days do we have? How many meals do we need to start potentially researching for? I don't know if these cities are like, I need a reservation. Like if you're going to visit a city like New York, you need to make reservations in advance. I don't know if these cities are like that. And if they are, do I want to have some reservations just in case? I think sometimes in New York, you get lucky and you stumble upon a small hole in the wall that can seat you and then you're good to go. But sometimes you're absolutely starving and you don't have a reservation and it's Saturday night and everything's booked. And I don't want to get hangry in a foreign country and get like that. So I would rather have a reservation that I can then cancel if something else happens versus not. So this month though, I'm just focusing on getting the outline scheduled and then we can start figuring out what we want to do to fill in that space. Okay, the weekly ones, the first two are about health. So the first one is to get outside. It is starting to get so nice outside and May in New York is usually beautiful and I need some fresh air. So mostly I'm going to accomplish this probably by going for some sort of run outside. That's what I'm sort of incorporating into my exercise routine. So if that's the case, great. If it's not that, I want to find a way to go outside, whether it's go to the park and read my book or go have Sam go for a walk with me, whatever it is. The next one that's health related is similar to last month, but now I combined them. So it is elastics, stretch class, or yoga per week. I need to do one of those per week and it's an or. I don't need to do both, which is what I tried to do last month. I just need to do one of them per week. Okay, the next one is related to the decluttering of my house, but it's not actually doing a declutter project. It's listening to an organization podcast. And the specific one I'm gonna listen to is called Cocktails and Containers. And I found out about this podcast through another podcast that I love, which is Amy Landino's podcast, Detail Therapy. I mean, I love everything Amy does. I've talked about that before. But she had the woman who does the Cocktails and Containers podcast on hers. And everything she said it felt so approachable and doable. And so I want to actually listen to at least one of her podcasts per week. The next one is the financial podcast. This one, I don't have to do it on Mondays. Okay, I don't need to listen about money on Mondays. I can listen and learn about money any day of the week. But I'm still trying to do it once per week. The next one is check in and update my power sheets. The next two are about the media. So I'm keeping 15-minute social media purge. Again, we're keeping that until it's good. And then the next one is I want to spend 15 minutes a week on the Notes app on my phone. So my Notes app has gotten a little out of control. I add things randomly and it's not organized at all. And so when I want to go find something, I can't. And I just think it needs a little bit of TLC. And so instead of trying to do it all in one foul swoop, I'm going to try and do it a little bit per week. And hopefully by the end of the month, it'll be in a place that I like it. And then the last one is about productivity bootcamp. So this was actually on my March tending list, was when I started Productivity Bootcamp. It was a 6-week program, and I did it mostly in the month of March, and then I finished it in the month of April. And I talked about this on my Instagram stories. I loved it. I loved the bootcamp. It was incredible. I learned so much. Here's the problem. I haven't applied it yet. I have not done a good job. She tries to get you to apply it throughout the program, and I just didn't follow along. And part of it was I didn't have time. I had built in all these other things I wanted to do each week, and so I set aside the time to actually do the boot camp. But then to implement the boot camp, that was a whole nother animal that I didn't attack in March or April. So in May, what I'm going to do is each week I'm going to pick one thing from the Productivity Bootcamp notes, one tool. She gave us a lot. And I'm gonna focus on that and try, and every time that can be applied, I'm going to apply it. Now, checking this off is gonna be a little bit subjective. I'm gonna try to look at it as if I can implement the tool that I'm trying to master once per day, then I get credit for the week. Or if I felt like I implemented it a lot over the week, I will give myself credit. But again, kind of subjective. Okay, daily tasks. So the first one, you're gonna laugh at me, is to work on Sam's anniversary gift. So I talked about, was this a February or a March goal? I don't know. One of those months, the goal was to plan an outline to work on the gift. And I did that. And then I didn't stick to it. I just didn't work on it at all in March or April. And now it's May, and I have to give it to him. Now, our anniversary is May 14th. But we are celebrating Memorial Day weekend, which is May 25th. So I am trying to work on it once a day from May 1st to May 25th. Although the first couple of days and go wild, it probably won't happen. But either way, I am trying to work on it because I have to get it done. I am adding sleep back into my power sheets. So like we talked about earlier, there are some habits that if you do them enough and they're important and you enjoy them, that they become habits and you don't have to track them anymore. And they don't need to be in your planner or in your power sheets. And then there are some habits that as soon as you stop tracking them, even if they are still important to you, you don't have any accountability to sticking to them. That is what happened with me for sleep. As soon as I stopped tracking getting enough sleep, I justified, I have a lot to get done, so I'm gonna stay up a little bit later tonight, or I'm gonna get up super early tomorrow and only get 6 hours of sleep. And I found myself doing that way, way, way too much in the months of March and April. And it was just not good. So I'm putting sleep back on the tending list. I need to get 7.5 hours of sleep a night. I do. I am such a better, happier, more productive version of me. And since productivity is the focus for May, I need the sleep. The next two are also health related. And so this is how I'm incorporating food into May without it being a tracking. Because of all the travel and all that kind of stuff, tracking is gonna be really difficult. So my focus for May is to get 3 servings of veggies per day. So even if I'm traveling and eating out, like, and you can get 3 servings of vegetables per day. It's really not that hard. So that is my focus for May. Even if I drink a lot or eat a lot of things that I'm not supposed to eat, if I get my 3 servings of vegetables per day, I get a check. The next one is I'm calling 10 sips of water. This is gonna be another subjective one in terms of actually tracking it. But instead of trying to drink a full cup of water at different points in my day like I tried last month, I'm going to try every time I pick up my cup, which if you watched my favorites video from months ago, I have a little gizmo on my cup that lights up that tells me when I haven't picked it up in 30 minutes. And so then I pick up my cup to make the gizmo stop blinking. Or if I just pick up my cup to get a drink of water. Every time I pick up my cup, I'm going to take 10 sips of water instead of like 1 or 2, which is what I do now. That might prove to be a lot. I tried it a couple of times before I wrote it down and it seemed reasonable. I mean, not like gulps of water, but literally like I'm drinking from a straw when I drink my water, 10 sips of water each time I pick up the cup to drink from it. I think that might help. So we'll see. Again, this is gonna be a little bit subjective whether I felt like I did it a lot that day or not. I'll give myself the check. We'll see. The next one is a no spend. And I don't love the phrase no spend. It's not my favorite concept. Like, I think if you build things into your budget that you should be able, if it's in your budget, like you can spend on whatever you want to spend on. But this is also coming from a place of get all the stuff out of my house. I have way too much stuff in my house. And so a couple of months ago, I posted on Instagram, I'll post it here. I made a list of things that I needed to stop buying because I have too many of it. Things like stickers and washi and face masks and I don't even know what else was on the list, but notepads, like there were a lot of things on the list. And I tried to be good, and I've been better about it the past couple months. I haven't been perfect. So in May, especially given all the stuff we're gonna get at Go Wild, I'm going to try to not buy any of the things on that list. That is what my no spend is. And if I stick to that, I get a check mark. If I don't, I don't. All right, and then I added one more daily habit because it was one from last month, so I felt like it wasn't that big of a deal, sort of carrying it over. And that is AM social media, and I'm switching it up a little bit. So last month, I really catered it to my morning routine, and I said, okay, so you wake up, you know, wash your face, bathroom, vitamins, water, read, YouTube channel something related, and then when you eat breakfast, then you get to check your social media. And that was like my rule. What if that wasn't the routine that morning? What if the routine was different because it was a weekend or because just something was different about that morning? Sometimes I would just cave and pick up my phone and check social media. Sometimes I was still good about leaving it. So I'm changing it a little bit this month, and I am doing it an hour from when I wake up. No matter where I am in the country, no matter what I'm doing, no matter what the routine is, what day of the week, from an hour when I wake up, I am not checking social media until it's been an hour. And we're gonna see how that goes. And if it goes well, then maybe next month we'll extend it to 2 hours and see how it goes. Whew, okay, that was a lot for May. I'm trying to do a lot, but I think it's doable. I don't think it's too crazy. There's a lot going on, but most of it's on the weekends. And so I think it's doable. And I'm excited to see the progress that I make on the month of May and focusing on those positive things. Usually I, at this point, will ask you to tell me something that you are working towards for May, but this month I want to switch it up a little bit. In the comments, I want you to let me know something that you achieved in April. I want you to tell me one of the goals, whether it was a one task thing or a daily habit. I want you to tell me something that you made progress on in the month of April. Let me know in the comments below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you so much for watching. Happy planning. But the power sheets, why can't I talk today? Okay, so the monthly address, that's what it says, stop reading it. Where I print out on my Silhouette machine, no, that's wrong. Need to be broken down into all the individual people in the household that I do send, not holiday cards. I am trying to work on it once a day from, oh my God. If I can, no matter what I eat the rest of the day, even if I drink 10,000 drinks, okay, that wouldn't be good.